Hello, Cancer. Welcome to team. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. I'm doing in this video a monthly taroscope for Cancer for team. Let's see what's going on for Cancer. Looks like at the opening of the month, you've got some things. There's a change that's coming that you may or may not have some resistance to. It's looking like there may be some resistance or fear towards that change happening, but I'll talk a little bit more about each of those. So Cancer, what it starts off with the month of March starts off with for you is Knight of Swords in reverse. In the upright position, Knight of Swords means someone who's willing to dive right in and defend a cause or an idea, someone who is very gung-ho about things. It can also represent an air sign, so it could be Aquarius or Libra or Gemini. And Knight of Swords is someone who goes forth regardless of what dangers are present. You can see this tower that's burning. He just dives right in, and he is someone who is very incisive, someone who is he's of the mind element, so he's very quick thinking and he's analytical. But sometimes when he's in the reverse position, it's saying that either it's not time to dive right in, or it's saying to be careful of people's emotions. Don't be so much like Knight of Swords where you just cut through things. Take a minute to step back and consider things. It can also be that it's this air sign that is not seeing eye to eye with you right now and not in support of you right now. I'm also seeing that it's an end right here with death, and death is in the reverse position, so it could be an end with an air sign that you're resisting. And the reason I'm suggesting that you might be resisting it is that it's in the reverse position. Usually when things are in the reverse position, there's usually some doubt or fear or resistance involved. But what death says is that it's time for transformation. It's time for a new cycle. What I always point out in this card is that this blooming rose needs to be cut to gather the seeds and plant a new rose for new life. If this rose is just allowed to exist, it can't exist forever. It's going to wither and die. So in order for new life to come about, you actually have to cut this rose, allow it to die, and gather the seeds from that and plant a new living plant organism cycle. So if there's an ending with an air sign, don't resist it. Allow that to be cut, because that's what allows new life to come about. And if there's transformation that's going on for you regarding an air sign, don't hesitate with it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't have doubts about it. It's for your own good, and it's what's happening anyway. So I see too that there's coupledom here. This is Two of Cups, which is like Two of Hearts. It's emotional based, and it shows two people exchanging cups, which represents exchanging hearts. It's love affair, it's coupledom, it's romance. It's all the things that have to do with love and companionship and partnership. And it says too that you're going to be a survivor in regards to relationship, regardless. Nine of Wands is a survivor card. He's someone who is a warrior that keeps getting knocked down and getting back up. In fact, I call this card Cool Hand Luke card because he keeps getting knocked down, keeps getting back up. That's where he's got this sort of survivor instinct. And he can be a little bit paranoid. He can be a little bit wary. He's always looking out for who's going to knock him down next. So he can be a little bit defensive. But the benefit of this card is that he's a survivor regardless. Like when I see this card, I always think of the Buddhist phrase that says, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. So regardless of how much he has loss, he always recovers. He always comes back to a standing position. He may have battle wounds, but I'm seeing with these two cards together that you're a survivor in relation to partnership, in relation to love or romance. You're going to survive through this one. Whatever change it is that you're resisting, especially if you're in partnership or if you're in a love dynamic with an air sign who can be very logical, incisive, cuts to the chase, goes for it. That's all Knight of Swords archetype energy. So it may be time to let that one go or step into a new cycle, like stop whatever has been happening and start a new cycle. But don't resist the change, don't resist the end that's happening. Regarding that, it may also mean that you have to stop being so gung-ho about something. If you have been like Knight of Swords, I usually see this as like an air sign, so I don't know that it's necessarily you, but it's a possibility that if you have been embodying Knight of Swords energy, like going straight for where danger is and straight for defending an ideal or a cause or having a belief that you're very zealous about, it may be time to cut that out and to just like scale back on that. Because Knight of Swords and Death are in reverse, there's something that you're not seeing clearly about the situation. You need to stop that way of being, or whoever is embodying that, you need to separate yourself from them. You're going to be fine. You're going to survive through it. Your your Nine of Wands with in regards to relationship and romance. So you're always gonna find your feet. You're always gonna like be like a cat that lands on its feet regarding that, especially in the beginning of Cancer. So in the middle of the month, you may feel this is Eight of Swords, and you may feel like you're not connected to your own power. This is a card of powerlessness and kind of victim mentality. You know, what's funny is in the Rider-Waite, this guy has, which is another one of the classic standard decks, this guy has his head bandaged, and so does she. And so it means that you're identifying with being a victim or feeling like a martyr or feeling like you have no choice and no will, no power, no choice in the whole situation. And really what that is in this card is it's kind of like negative thinking, or it's just believing that you're stuck. All these swords represent ideas, and it's your mentality that is surrounding you and making you feel like you're imprisoned. This woman in this card is not actually surrounded by the swords. She can walk out of it at any time. But because she believes that she is encompassed by the swords, which is her own thinking, she believes she's stuck. She believes she has she believes she's a prisoner, when really she has a lot more power than she's aware of. She could cut these binds on any of these swords, like tear off the blindfold and just walk away. There's no one there holding her there. It's her beliefs that are holding her there. So when this card shows up, ask yourself, is there a way that your belief system, your way of thinking, is holding you back and making you feel powerless? Even though you have this survivor card, there's a certain wounding here and a wounded way of thinking that may be keeping you captive, literally. You may be keeping yourself captive by identifying with this wounded way of thinking. If you are experiencing feeling overwhelmed or overburdened in the middle of the month, this is of rods, and this is carrying too much. It means like feeling like your back is going to break with all the responsibilities that you've collected. The fact that it's in the reverse position suggests to me that there might be an easing up of that. Like if you have been feeling overwhelmed and like you're carrying too much, that you might see some relief with that in the middle of the month. And the way out of this card is to put down what's not necessary. So if you're carrying 12 different things, look at what it is that you are feeling is pressing on you and see if you can put down some of the weight. Even if you can let go of a third of your load or half of it, then it's going to feel a lot lighter. You're going to feel less weary, less stuck. Because all three of these cards, Nine of Wands, Eight of Swords, and of Wands, have this very sort of oppressed, stuck feeling. This one gets through it, but he is always sort of looking for the next problem, looking for the next person who's going to attack him. So see if you can let go of some of the things that you're carrying, and you may actually also realize that it's your thinking that is really imprisoning you, Cancer. It's really, you can always change your thinking, and you find that these shackles start falling off. Also, in the middle of the month, you have Four of Cups. This means the world is wanting to offer you something that's going to fill your heart. You need to, however, see it and be in a place to receive it. When Three of Cups down here in the foreground is the focus and attention of all that is, then sometimes it's easy to miss this fourth cup that the world is trying to offer you. This is kind of like a Rip Van Winkle card where he's asleep and the figure is just consumed with what's going on in his own mind, in what's going, or his or her mind, and just consumed with what exists, how things are. It's to me in some ways echoing this for you, because it's like saying, oh, I'm stuck, things are always just going to be the way they are, I can't move. Same with this one, is that this is all I've got, this is all that I can expect to get, this is all the happiness and joy that I'm ever going to get, and I'm not going to move. The weeds are kind of growing around him. But also the promise of this card is that if you look up and out of yourself, the world is trying to hand you more. The world is trying to hand you another cup that will fulfill you, that will fill your heart, that will emotionally sustain you. So try to look up and out of yourself, not just look at what is, what's always going to be, how things are always going to remain the same, but what else that might fill your heart. It's interesting too, because we have in this column, I'm seeing some cups energy and then devil, which can also sometimes mean passion. So if you were in this relationship, feel like a survivor, or feel like a survivor in terms of partnership in general, feel like you're always getting knocked down and need to get back up. Look at what more the world will be trying to offer you. There might be a lot of passion involved with that. You might find that something is all of a sudden ignited in terms of, the way you currently view partnership, what else you could receive, and then you might have some passion happening there. It might be very, fulfilling, sort of seductive thing if you can open yourself up to it. And this card too says you want to spend some time envisioning things. This is Three of Wands, which is the visionary card. So it's Three of Fire, which 3 is a very creative number. And in this card, we have someone who is surveying the landscape and trying to decide what he wants to build. So it's open, flat land. It's all in potential status. Nothing has been built yet, but he's spending time envisioning what he wants to build. And I think it was probably worthwhile for you, Cancer, in the middle of the month to start dreaming, start envisioning what it is that you want. Because they've kind of got some interesting 3 energy here. This is 4 of Cups, but really those 3 cups are what is. And then you've got this 3 of Wands, which is about being spontaneous, creative, envisioning things, dreaming, planning, asking yourself what it is that you want to create. Because if you remain in this 9 of Wands or this 8 of Swords or even 10 of Wands energy, you're just going to feel like you're carrying the same thing. I'm thinking of like Sisyphus rolling the ball up the hill, rolling the ball down the hill, rolling, like kind of an almost, is this all there is energy. But open yourself up. Like shake yourself out of whatever sleep you're in. Open your eyes and look up and start dreaming and envisioning what it is you want to create. Towards the end of the month, I see a couple different things happening here. You've got 2 major arcana cards surrounding another major arcana card. So at the end of the month, it seems as though there's something kind of important that is coming into your focus. It has to do with intuition and truth, trusting those things. I'm going to say a little bit more about those, but I'm going to talk about this card first. This card is 5 of Swords, and 5 of Swords I call picking up the pieces. So it's looking at what the sun has set on, and I'm going to show you in this card how it echoes. There's a setting sun in this death card when things ended, and this card too echoes that setting sun. What's happening here, though, is that someone is picking up the swords that are left out on the battlefield. So if something is coming to a conclusion, if something is ending, likely related to this, see what it is that you can gather and take away from it, because this swords energy is insight, it's ideas, it's thoughts. It can be even like tidbits of wisdom that you're collecting and saying, okay, I've been through that battle. This is what I'm taking away from it. This is takeaway. This is insight. I'm collecting these insights and knowledge from having been through this, because you're needing to confront something that is not true. This Devil card also means, as well as passion, it also means being seduced by something, believing in things that aren't true, believing false beliefs. And it's in opposition to Justice and High Priestess, which are really cards of authority and knowledge. You can see both of them are sitting on these thrones. This one, High Priestess, is about inner knowledge, trusting your gut, finding information that just comes to you from an intuitive, instinctual sense from other realms. It's sort of like when you have a gut feeling about something. And this one is a card of knowledge that has to do with fairness, justice, righteousness, things that are true according to the law, or things that are true according to justice, like things that are right and correct and true. So there's a way, and both of these are feminine cards, you'll notice. So there's something about connecting with the feminine aspect, the feminine element. And you'll see too, in both of these cards, they have this drapery behind them, which is saying that the information isn't always on the surface. It might be behind the veil, where you actually need to trust your authority. There's something that is definitely taking your attention away from you. And it's making you believe that this is in charge, whether it's passion, seduction, addiction, lies. There's something that is false, something that's not true, but which kind of has a grip on you. And it's kind of going against your gut instincts, is what you know to be fair and true and correct and right. You're not listening to that. You're focused on this. So even though it's completely surrounded by your inner knowing and what you know to be true and fair and right and just, what is the focus on this about? You might need to look at what you need to do to correct the situation, to make things, any injustices just, to render a verdict, to uphold truth that you know. And quite frankly, to trust your intuition and trust your own inner knowing and your own gut feelings about things. That's what, by focusing on this and allowing this to be the dominating factor, you are sort of quieting and squelching both your inner sense of knowing and your sense of justice. So be careful towards the end of the month, Cancer, because it looks like you're going to have to really rely upon these two ladies in order to untangle yourself from the grip of this, whatever this is. This can, like I said, this could be passion, seduction, false beliefs, like even believing that you're not good enough, believing something that's not true. Maybe information that was told to you that's not true, but yet you're believing it anyway. Believing in things that people have told you about yourself that are not true, or about someone else. In this card, I just always like to point out that in the Rider-Waite, there's a man and a woman who each have chains around their neck, and the chains are loose enough that they can just take them off. They always have the ability to leave, just like in this card, but it's their belief in this character and belief in this structure or belief system that is keeping them stuck. So you want to consider, Cancer, in what ways are you stuck? In what ways are you not listening to yourself? And in what ways are you telling yourself things that are not true? And in what ways is that keeping you in one place, keeping you restricted, keeping you feeling powerless, and like a lesser version of yourself? So that's a reading for you, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get some insight and access to your own abilities, your own strengths, by hearing this. And I just want to thank everyone, as always, for watching. Yours in the Stars. If you enjoyed the reading, feel free to check out readings for the other signs, and also feel free to share on any platform, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Yours in the Stars.